Alrighty, welcome to the next segment of how to use your brain to transmit a frequency and affect your reality. Now, this segment, I'm going to teach you a specific technique to how to dial in the frequency to have it at a high intensity for a long duration to create the biggest change in your life and have the manifestations you want. This is the easiest way to do it to get started. Okay, if you guys watched my last video, I kind of gave a thumbnail sketch of this whole philosophy and thought technology that actually really works, and you learn some of my manifestation stories and how I can get insane, ridiculous results because of using this, mastering my emotions and my mind. Now, again, as I go through these trainings, I'm going to start with the most important, easy to do stuff first, and then as we go, we'll get more specific and deal with more intricacies of this, right? And the way I'm going to teach it this time is I'm just going to give you a real life story. I'm going to tell you the full version of it because all the elements are hidden inside, okay? So you'll be able to know what my internal processes were, the techniques I used, when things happened that seemed bad, you know, how I reacted to them, and so forth. And so this is really how you learn. Because I could give you a step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do that, but it's really not as inspiring when you hear a real life story and you hear and see and notice how it's actually applied. So before I go into the story, I actually want to do a quick pop quiz with you to see if you remember the concepts from that last video. Okay, so if you saw that video, hopefully you can remember these concepts. And you really want to get to the point where all the answers come to you so fast because they're in your subconscious mind and it's all readily available. Therefore, you have these structures of belief and you are transmitting the frequencies unconsciously, right? It makes it all work. So, let's see how you did. First off, what were the 2 scientific proofs that your body transmits a frequency and affects reality? What is the 2 examples I gave you of things that can be proven in the laboratory or in your kitchen, right? Number 1, what was the first one? Tell me out loud or say it, in your mind loudly as if, this is a pop quiz. Raise your hand if you know the answer. What is it? And the second one? Okay, I'll give you the answer. The first one was the Dr. Emoto water experiment, where he had the same types of water in different types of bottles, had the monk pray on each one. He took a drop, froze it on the little dish, looked at it with the microscope, and they all had the corresponding frequency to the thought. The good thoughts had a nice, beautiful, symmetrical design. The negative thoughts were all dispersed and morphed and discolored and hardly had any crystallization to it at all. Okay, what was the second one? The rice and water experiment, right? You take water and rice, you put them in 3 jars, all the same water, all the same rice. The only difference is every morning you pick one up and say, I love you. The other one, you give it hate, I hate you, right? And then the third one, you just leave it alone as the control. And after a few weeks, you'll notice the one with the hate has the absolute most mold, and it's really amazing because the only difference was how you emotionally treated it, right? Did you know those answers right away? If not, hey, that's why we're going over this so you can get these really key concepts, and I'll explain why it's so important later on. Okay, next. What was the audio I suggested you listen to? There was an audio? Yeah, remember I said it came out first on a record? And it had a quote that I repeated a few times. Earl Nightingale. You become what you think about most of the time. And I didn't give you the title of the audio because it's easy if you just search for it. Okay? And I'm not going to give it to you now because I want you to search for it. I want you to listen to that audio, right? Put that audio on your playlist of something you listen to often, okay? Because if it's not in your subconscious mind and you don't memorize the information, you're not thinking of it most of the time. Therefore, the technique's not going to work. Okay? Okay, next. What was the technique that I taught you, hopefully you watched the video after that video where I gave you the technique of how you get rid of negative emotions where they never come back again. What was it called? You could call it a few things. EFT, TFT, or the tapping technique, right? Now, did you go and watch the video where I gave you the training on how to do it? Listen, you're not doing it for me, you're doing it for you. And if you want to make this stuff work, go watch it and learn it. It's one of the most powerful things you can learn. Listen, I'm trying to give you guys, just like in my videos when I point out the hypnotic elements, I'm trying to tell you, the most important things. The same thing here, right? Okay, next. What was the demonstration that proves when a frequency is transmitted that it moves all the particles to the structure of the vibration? What is it? The vibration plate and sand experiment, right? You could say it in different ways, but did it come right to you, right? Did you get the picture? Did you go look up what those pictures look like and what the demonstration is? Did you find a video that shows that? That's where the power is. I mean, I could edit it in these videos and spend tons of time, but honestly, when you look for the information, you search for it for yourself, that's how you really come to your own conclusions. I can make a crazy edited videos every time, but honestly, it takes me a long time to make those kind of videos. And it's really more powerful when you go and search it out yourself. Okay? Okay, next question. What was the demonstration of that principle in nature that we can see happen? Kind of weird way to ask that question, but if you know the answer, if you know this information, it would come to you directly. The snowflake, right? How does a snowflake form? It's just simply in nature, in the natural vibrations, and it crystallizes accordingly to those natural vibrations, right? Okay. Next, what was the overlaying principle of that video? Stick with me, guys. All this stuff is very important. Just stick with me. Trust me, this is gonna be one of the most important videos you may ever see this year or, ever, to really get this material. What was the whole point of that video that I was working on conveying to you? I even said, if you take notes, there was the one example I gave to write the note down. I gave a little snap, trying to help you guys remember it a little more, right? The whole principle is feel good, right? So if you're always feeling good, you're always feeling joy, you're always feeling love, you're always feeling appreciation, then that is the true, perfect vibrational structure you're putting out into your reality that then all the quantum particles are morphing into, where ideas first, situations, events, and people are then perfectly in your life. And I'm going to tell the story, and it's going to blow you away as to how perfect this stuff works, okay? And when I say perfect, I'm saying perfect, okay? Perfect beyond what you could even think what you think perfect is, right? Okay, last question. What was the first technique I talked about that helps you get through depression? Key things to know, especially during these times. Walk outside in the sun and look at things far away. Simple, right? You walk, move your energy, instead of sulking and sitting down on your couch or laying in your bed and crawling into a ball where your posture is down and you're trying to conserve your energy because you're losing it through the depression. Instead, you're changing your posture, you're walking around, you're moving the energy, pumping your blood and your lymphatic system, and you're looking at things far away instead of being stuck inside your own issues, right? So the energy changes because you're looking at the mountain, you're looking at the tree, you're looking at the house, right? Changes your whole energy and helps you get out of the funk quick, right? So how did you do? Did you answer all the questions with no thinking and it came right to you? Probably not, right? That's why you got to listen to the audios over and over. There might be a couple of you who got it, okay? I'm not going to dismiss some of you who are actually astute with these concepts, but most of you probably didn't get them, right? Which, again, you need to watch it over and over again, because when you get them like this, and you have these scientific proof of the experiments that prove that your brain, your body is transmitting a frequency and it's affecting reality for real, and you have that as a structure of belief that you can't forget because you memorized it, imagine how much more confidence you have when you actually go to use these techniques and you know it's working because you know reality better, really. So it's super important. If I were you, I would write all those 7 key points down that I shared, okay? I'm not picking random stuff. Trust me. This is like the most important things, and we're going to build off of these concepts as these videos come out. And this video is going to be one of the most powerful techniques you can use to shift everything. Okay. What's the technique? What's the story? Tell me, right? Okay. So there was a time where I was homeless, right? I was living in my minivan, okay? I had an Astro van. Technically, it was a GMC Safari, but basically the same type of model van, right? Kind of like a minivan, right? It had the seats and the carpeting and all that stuff. It was maroon, okay? And so stick with me as I tell the story, because the more that I can, engage your imagination, just like when you read a book or watch a story, the more that you can get inside of the story, the deeper these concepts you're gonna be able to remember them, and it will affect you, right? So stick with me through the whole story, because it all has a reason, and it's gonna come together at the end. And just like when you watch a good movie and it makes you, emotional at the end, or it gives you goosebumps, that's when you get the concepts deep, right? So how did I go homeless, right? It's kind of embarrassing sharing these things, but I want you guys to know the concepts. So I was actually living in a mansion, and I had this recording deal, making hypnosis recordings. A pretty unique opportunity after meeting some people, going through seminars and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm living at the owner of the company's mansion. I have like a little wing and stuff, and we have this studio there out back. They had like a farm, like a really nice property, olive farm and stuff. And so one night, one of my friends was traveling, and he wanted to come by and hang out. And so, I kind of snuck him on the property late at night. I didn't ask the owners if he could come over. And we didn't do anything weird. Nobody stole anything or broke anything. We're just hanging out, And so the owner saw through the security cameras that I snuck someone on, right? And it looked shady. And so the next morning, I got kicked off the property, right? I didn't give any fuss. I totally understood, so I grabbed my things and left. Actually, I left a utility trailer with a lot of my stuff on the property. Thankfully, they let me do that. Which, by the way, I'm already finding ways to be thankful, even though I'm in a situation getting kicked on the street, okay? Key point. And so, with no notice, I'm on the street, okay? Now, this is when I recently moved to California again, and I didn't really have any friends in the area. I literally had one good friend, my buddy Jonakai, who would be commenting on these videos, but his account is restricted. He can't even make a comment. He sends me videos of his screen trying to give a comment, Shout out to Jonakai. What a man. And so he's the only friend I have. So, I go travel 3.5, 4 hours away from where I am to where he is in Santa Cruz, California. Hopefully I can sleep on his floor till I can figure something else out and find another place, right? And so during this time, I'm literally sleeping. He's working at a cultural center as a work trade. And I'm literally sleeping behind the stage, behind the curtain in the auditorium. And I later found out there were rats that lived back there. Right? And eventually I kind of got kicked out because I was hanging around too much. And I couldn't live there because they already had a full house and all that stuff. So I'm literally kicked out, sleeping in my van. And even though it's a beach town, it was kind of cold outside. You know, especially during the winter, it gets cold up there. And so I'm literally sleeping in my van every night, okay? With a seat and all my stuff. I can't even stretch my legs out, right? I'm cramped into this little area in my van. My van wasn't even in good shape. I literally had to take a battery out and like jump start it every time, and there was like all this acid like corrosion on the carpet in between the seats where I would put it, right? I wasn't doing too good at that time, you know? And the reason why I didn't have money is because I was spending all my time making these recordings for this company because I wanted to build up residual income. Instead of taking the deal of making so much money per track, I wanted to build up this massive library where I was getting paid residual income for every sale, right? And unfortunately, the company didn't do too well and went under, so it was a bad deal monetarily wise. Although an amazing opportunity because there's people like Bob Proctor and Lisa Nichols, people from The Secret, business leaders. They would also come on to this program because there was like a light and sound machine with binaural beats and flashing glasses, and they had interesting technology. But unfortunately, even though with all the investors they had and all the business people, marketing people that they hired, the company tanked, unfortunately. But you know, I still had. It was living in a mansion, and you know, would spend nights in the hot tub, hanging out with these people for 5 hours at a time and learning their stories, and it was a really great experience as far as knowledge. So as I'm laying down in the bed, or in my van, right, making a little bed on the floor, this is what I'm doing. This is the technique, okay? I'm in the lowest place, hardly got money, nowhere to go. I got one friend, right? Things aren't looking good, okay? This is what I do, okay? This is the most powerful moment. I'm laying in my bed, or laying in the van, and I'm saying this to myself. I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head. Because I do, right? It's a van, but it's a roof, right? I'm so grateful I have these blankets to keep me warm. I'm so grateful I have this pillow to keep my head snuggled, right? Comfortable. I'm so grateful I'm wearing two sets of clothes to keep me warm tonight, right? I'm grateful I have a pair of shoes that I can put on in the morning and walk around. I'm grateful that I have a friend that I can go hang out with and have some support, right? I'm so grateful that I went to the beach today, right? And so what am I doing? I'm only focusing on the things I'm grateful for. Okay? This is the magical technique. Mostly everyone else, what would they be doing in that situation? Oh, those people that kicked me out, they didn't have to kick me out. I don't know. Right? You come up with this story to be pissed at somebody, right? You're living in your car and you're just barely fitting inside to lay down, and life sucks. What am I gonna do? Right? A lot of people, they practice being pissed and frustrated instead, which is why no one gets the crazy results, right? And so the key is I'm just thinking about everything I can that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful I had a meal today. I'm grateful I found some oranges in someone's yard so I can have a snack. Right? I'm grateful that I got to meet some of my friends' friends and we got to hang out and stuff, right? I'm grateful I have a cell phone. Remember back then, that was like the iPhone 3G. That was like the big thing back then, right? Like, wow, I can go online and like actually do stuff on my phone now, right? When was the last time you were thankful for the supercomputer you have in your pocket all the time? Yeah, really. I'm thankful I have a computer, right? I'm thankful. I'm going through all these things. And why at night? Okay? Here's the key. You know, I'm not talking about meditation, right? I'm not talking about self-hypnosis and stuff like that. But going to bed it activates those areas of the mind. And so if you're able to keep thinking of what I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for the time that my grandmother gave me $100 when I was 10 to give me a toy, whatever I wanted. You're like, Michael, that was so long ago. Why would you say that? Well, talk to a lot of people. They still pissed off at stuff that happened to them when they were younger and they can't get over it. So why are you going to keep that in your memory, but you're not going to think about the good things? It's really those kind of choices that are going to determine your frequency, that your structure to your reality that's pulling in all the particles. Right? Again, I don't know if I said this, but this is a major key point. Everything's made of energy, right? Everything's made of atoms. That's made of neutrons and electrons and protons. That's just made up of quantas, right? I think that's the smallest particle of energy so far, or the Plancks or whatever, right? And so we know about the observer effect, don't we? If you look at those small particles, it depends on who's looking at them as far as how they move and what emotional state and how they're thinking that they're looking at them, that it determines that too, right? Powerful stuff. You need to know that. If you really know that, I transmit a frequency, everything's made of energy, it's affecting everything, pillars of belief. Now when you know that so well, when you can sit and just be grateful, you know that you're changing everything. And so you'll do it, right? Because you're not going to do it if you don't believe it, right? So the major challenge for me is just helping you understand that this is a real thing, you know? Because I can tell you step 1, step 2, step 3 real easy. But in order that you actually believe it and use it, that's the big challenge for me, right? Okay, what happened? What's the big manifestation? All right, we'll get to it. And so I'm laying in bed at night. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful I got to live in the mansion and have the studio and make all these recordings. And you're going to sleep, right? Apologize for the helicopter coming through. Allow the sound of the helicopter to make you focus more on my voice as I'm speaking, as there's background music happening right now, or background effects. So, I'm falling asleep, going to different brainwave states, right? Beta, being awake. Alpha, becoming relaxed. Theta, falling asleep. Until delta, low brainwave activity, deeply hypnotized, deeply asleep. You bring that mood and those feelings and those thoughts potentially into your dream space, right? And now you're bringing new information into your subconscious mind to play with, and then to maybe give you ideas and have dreams about. It's really powerful. Of course, you could do this technique all the time, but it's really the most powerful when you fall asleep and when you wake up. But when you fall asleep with it, it's kind of like when you get a radio on. You have your station that you listen to, you know, and then you shut your car off, the radio goes off, okay, then you leave the car. And then when you come back to the car, you turn it back on, it's still the same station, right? 8 hours later. It's kind of the same thing. When you wake up, generally we wake up kind of in the same mood that we went to bed in, right? Not all the time, but a lot of the times. I'm sure you can relate to that. So if you can get yourself to change your mood from, oh my God, you know, I'm stressed about this, and I don't know, I really need this, and I just lost my job, and all the world's coming to, hey, get yourself to just be grateful for everything in your life. All those issues they're still gonna be there. So you can just take a break from it for a minute, and feel grateful for everything. And get yourself in this rampage of appreciation is one way that it's termed by Abraham Hicks. And so when you wake up, you're more likely to go, oh, you know what? I'm grateful for today and the opportunities I can experience. I'm grateful for that I can make today a great day. Right? I'm grateful for today. I have planned for, gonna go meet up with this person, or today, I'm gonna make this for dinner tonight, right? So then you're more apt to see and think of things that you're grateful for. And here's where the magic happens. Okay? You become what you think about most of the time. I said that a few times, right? Well, what happens is when you get an idea like this, where you're just looking at everything, I'm grateful for this chair. I'm grateful for the microphone stand that I have clipped to the phone, right? I'm grateful to be in nature right now where it's relatively peaceful, except for the helicopters and stuff. You know, right? So what happens is there's a portion in your brain called the reticular activation system. And once you get an idea into your mind, this is the part of your brain that just looks for the things that you have been focusing on. It's kind of like when you go shopping for a car and you're focused on the car that you want, right? I really want that car, right? This color, this model, this brand, right? And once you get really excited about it and you're really focused on it and you really know what you want, all of a sudden, when you're driving around, you start seeing them everywhere, right? It's mostly because you weren't really focused on it before, and now you are focused on it. And you could be manifesting them more in your experience as well, but really, it's your brain just looking out for it, right? It's kind of like if you pick a certain color that you're looking for, or a certain object you're looking for in your house, and all of a sudden you can start to see more of them, right? Just because you're focused on it more. So the reticular activation system gets engaged when you get this to happen. Now listen, this is like an exercise just like anything else. And you need to do it a lot to really get it. It's just like when you go to the gym, and you start out bench pressing with the 45-pound barbell, right? With no weights on it. Okay, all right, you're getting started, right? Next week, you're not going to throw on 300 pounds. I guarantee it, right? That happens, maybe in a year, or I don't know how long it takes to get up to 300 pounds, but it takes a while, right? You have to work up to it. First, you put on the 20 pounds, right? Then you put on the 45s. Then you put on a 45 with a 5. Then you build up to it, right? So the more you practice it, the better you get, okay? And so what happened? What was the big manifestation? Tell me. Okay, I'll tell you. So, I'm thinking of the things I want, right? I'm grateful for my computer. I'm grateful for my phone. Maybe I can do something online where I can figure out something. Why don't I go on Craigslist and look for listings of work trade places? My buddy's doing it. Why can't I find something, right? A very straightforward, easy thing. It kind of seems common sense. But when you're in a different state of mind, it's hard to see the answers when you're not tuned to the right station. It's like you want to listen to hip-hop music, but you're on the talk station. And you really want to hear I know that there's hip-hop music, I just don't hear it at all. Yeah, you just need to switch the tuning to go to a different frequency. Now it's hip-hop. It's the same 20 songs all day long. Right? And so when you just switch your state of mind, that just allows you to get to the right ideas. And like I said, the first things you attract are ideas, right? They're the easiest thing, right? It's energy in the ether that has the least amount of resistance. I get the idea. I'm going to check Craigslist. I check Craigslist. It's like one of the first few listings I see. And there's a guy who has a room that he wants to available, not for rent, but for work trade. And like, okay, he's an older guy. He needs some help and stuff around the house. As long as I'm not wiping butts, I'll consider it, right? So I go meet the guy, and I find out, this is incredible. I find out, listen, I don't know anybody in town. I just got there, He's a retired physicist, mathematician, and hypnotherapist. Oh, right. So I meet him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, I've actually done a lot of hypnosis too, a lot of hypnosis work and stuff, and I think we get along, right? His house is like a laboratory. He's got all these like magnetic devices and muscle testing machines, and his inventions he has that are like in process of being made, and like he's electronic soldering area, like all this stuff everywhere, right? And I'm just like, wow, this is pretty cool, right? Maybe I can learn something from this guy. And I tell him, like, yeah, I do meditation, stuff like that. Okay, cool, yeah. Well, I do worldwide meditations. Oh, really? Yeah, I actually do too, because at the time I was doing this worldwide meditation with my friend. Don't mind Lucy, she's very protective, especially when these golf carts drive by. And so he's doing worldwide meditations, and I'm doing worldwide meditations. How does that match up, right? And this is just the beginning. This is just the start, okay? So I move in pretty soon after that, right? Because he needs the help. And all I'm doing is helping him write his emails with the newsletter. He has a newsletter, right? Makes some updates to his website and stuff like that. And so I'm literally learning from this guy all these experiments and studies that he's done about how worldwide meditation actually is a real thing that can create a difference in the world, right? And someone's thinking, oh, we need to do that, maybe we should, especially right now. He had studies like sunspot activity correlates to war activity, and if you have enough percentage of the population, the Maharishi effect, it actually lowers war activity, right? Meanwhile, we're doing our worldwide meditations every Saturday. We're maxing out the conference call line, right? We have the biggest calls that the company ever had. And I literally have the role of, I would guide meditations. We'd also have guests on. But I would come with a mind activation report with studies on to help build up everyone's beliefs that this thing is real. So when they're doing it, it has more of an effect, right? And so now I'm literally learning all these studies I would have never known otherwise because I'm living with this guy, right? You want to learn something from someone, you go live with them. Trust me, right? And so, it was amazing, right? I got to learn so much. His name is Burl Payne, by the way. He passed away years ago. Really amazing guy. And it's the first time I heard of Alex J. I'm not going to say his name. And then, last week I was on his show. Crazy. And so, that's not where it ended. Because eventually he actually wanted to get someone else to live there because I'm kind of a night owl. Well, I'm like the most extreme night owl you may ever know. And I think because my mom, she'd come home from work and I would just stay up all night and play with my toys until like 2 a.m. until I passed out on my own. So I think I just became wired as a night owl. And it's really hard for some people when you're living with them, especially I'm down the hall, up all night, making videos, listening to the computer, making music, all this stuff, and creating noise. It's hard for people. It's really hard. And so he wanted someone else to be there, because he wanted to come to work every day at 9 a.m. and I would literally roll out of bed at 8:55, put pants on and a shirt and hair all disheveled, and show up to the computer like, okay, I'm ready. And he'd be like, go outside and stand in the sun to wake up. I'd be like, oh, you can do that? Oh, interesting. I'm still really tired. And so he wanted me to find somewhere else after a few months of living there, right? I guess I got my training from him, right? I learned pretty much all of his stuff, or, a lot of it anyways. And so during that time of being there, I met some interesting people. One of which was the lady who would come over and help him because he was disabled. Listen, stick with me through the whole story. I promise it's all worth it, okay? And so this lady would come over to help him out because he had this issue where he had no ability to keep his balance, right? He used to live near this satellite, one of those satellites that would turn around when you have the radar screens of like beep, 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 right? This was near Cape Cod in Massachusetts. And pretty much everyone in the town got cancer and died. And he was one of the few survivors because he knew nutrition, He knew healing techniques and all these things. And so he actually survived until in his 80s, right? And so, which, by the way, EMFs are really a big issue nowadays, and that's something to really look into and protect yourself with. So this lady would come over and help him out. She knew this really advanced tapping technique, not EFT or TFT, something completely different. And she actually helped me clear mold from my body because the room I was staying in had black mold in it behind the bed, right? That I realized, like, oh my God, what am I living in, So she helped me detox mold from my body using this stuff, which was really powerful. And so she came over a few times and she got to know me. And she knew I was a good kid, right? And so she asked me if I could house sit at her place because she was going to go visit her son in Texas. I apologize with the dog barking. I know it's distracting. Just try to stick with me here. And so she asked me to stay with her, not stay with her, but house sit her place while she was gone. I was like, yeah, this is actually lining up perfectly because Burl is kicking me out. Okay, cool, Oh, I missed a point. Meanwhile, before this lady asked me to do this, I remember vividly talking to my mom, just a catch-up call, like, hey, how you doing? I'm your son out in California doing this weird adventure. She's, back in New England. And I was telling her, like, yeah, I got this cool living spot, but I'm actually getting kicked out right now. And she's, oh, honey, what are you going to do? And I'm just like, I don't know, but I know it's going to be amazing. What do you mean? You're going to get kicked out on the street and be living in your van again. Yeah, but I've been feeling really, really good lately. I've been on my purpose. We're doing the meditation calls. I'm making videos. I was doing like Fiverr gigs to make money, right? Making like hypnotic videos for people and stuff. Practicing my craft to get good at it. So I knew something amazing was going to happen. Even I'm talking to my mom, she thinks I'm, crazy, right? But my mom is super cool, so I feel comfortable talking to her about it. By the way, don't talk to people about this stuff, okay? Especially people who are going to have a counteracting belief, or, even talking to my mom is a little bit of a stretch, right? Because then, you have this counter resistance of their own beliefs. Even when they love you, they don't want you going crazy, and they think that this stuff is crazy. So, but I told her anyways, but keep this stuff to yourself. The communication you need to have is the emotionally with your universe or your God or whatever, okay? And so I go stay at her place, right? It's just 2 weeks, man. What do you mean? This isn't real manifestation. You keep getting kicked out of places. She never comes back. She went to Texas to help her son. And whatever happened, he was disabled. They had some issues with the house. And so she never came back. I lived at that house in Santa Cruz, just a walk down from the beach near West Cliff Drive, if you're familiar. Nice place. For a year and a half. Rent-free. Well, I ended up paying the utilities because I was feeling bad because I'm like using the water and the electricity and stuff. So I started contributing to her in that way. Without her asking, right? Out of a feeling of gratitude. And so, because of living there, I get to host a lot of amazing people that came through the town and made a lot of great friends. And I even had a buddy who made a YouTube video on the back porch that got 1 million views, right? That heightened my belief about making videos on YouTube. Oh my God, right? And so, all these things wouldn't have happened without it. And one of the most amazing things, being health conscious, like, probably a lot of us are. I know I am. Because she left and never came back, she had like all of these health supplements and health food and all this stuff, right? I mean, like at a level of like a naturopath doctor's like medicine cabinet of like everything, like absolutely freaking everything. And guess what? A lot of that stuff was gonna go expired And so I was able to have at it and have tons of health food. And it was really ridiculous, right? And so what lined up with me so perfect? You know, I laid in my van. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the snacks I have on in my cooler thing or whatever it is. I'm so grateful for the roof over my head. I'm so grateful for the great feelings. I'm so grateful I can lock my doors and feel secure. Right? I'm already living in a place like this. But I don't see it yet. I feel it. Your eyes and ears will deceive you because you can't see all of reality with them. But you can feel it. You can feel them, feel it, right? It's so powerful, right? See, and there's a reason why I taught this method first. Because there's 3 ways that you can think and use your brain and your emotions to manifest things. You can be very specific. I really want that girl. You can be general. I really want an amazing relationship. Or you can just have a feeling. 3 ways. None of them are wrong. There's just 3 ways, and I'll teach you more of the ways as we go down. But the feeling one, I think, is the easiest because you're not so constricted to one thing or one idea, or you need this relationship to be happy, or a relationship. Maybe you don't need a relationship to be happy and you need to be on your own for a while, right? Maybe. That's why if you just transmit a feeling, it's actually better than being specific because you're going to get something that you would never even believe, first off, or even imagine, right? Because if I were to sit in my van, okay, I'm going to imagine this place that has all the supplements I want and where I can bring all my friends over and has all these things, right? I get to meet this amazing physicist, mathematician, hypnotist guy and learn from him, right? I'm going to think. I couldn't have thought that, okay? You really can't think that, right? I mean, you can work on it, you can try to, but trust me, if you just transmit the feeling, it's like the vibration plate with the sand again, okay? It's like, okay, I got this plate with a bunch of sand on it, spread it all out, okay, make me the frequency of love right there. Go ahead, go do it. Let me see. Is it a heart? Is it a what do I do here? I guess like kind of like some kind of snowflake design or something. First off, it's going to take you forever, and second off, you have no freaking clue, right? So just know, as you start this stuff off, you don't even know. You don't know how it's going to work. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know who's going to be there. So it just takes the stress away from it all. Instead of like, I want this person. I really like this person. I want to be with this person. What's the vibration there? Constricting. You're cutting off your energy supply. You're not even sending out energy. You're just frustrated. Because maybe there's someone that's out of your awareness, off the radar screen, that doesn't give you a hard time, that you're attracted to, that you get along with so much better. But so many people get stuck with, I know this person and I really like them. Whew. Time to learn a tapping technique, friend. Right, so the feeling, first off, is the easiest because you don't have all these conflicting beliefs that go against it. Like, oh, no, can I get a place with all these supplements, and can I get a place that's going to meet me all these people and connect me with this stuff and be near the beach and be so perfect? You're not going to, right? Now, there will be times when there's specific things you want, and I've done that. And I have an amazing story for that. I have a few amazing stories, actually. But starting with the feeling is really the most powerful, and it's going to make you the most happy. And it has the least amount of stress, and it's the easiest way to do it because you just get used to being, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this moment. I'm so grateful for this beautiful weather. I'm so grateful the sun is out. I'm so grateful to see the clouds. Those are chemtrails, man. Well, you know what? A lot of people aren't aware of it, so I'm grateful I know about them. And I'm grateful I'm conscious and aware of many things that people aren't aware of. You can find great gratitude in any situation, okay? And when things go wrong, this is like the determining factor whether you're going to stay balanced with this stuff or not, right? When catastrophe happens, when an unexpected thing happens, when someone screws you over, right? Or you lose something that you care about so much. How are you able to respond? Your response ability, your ability to respond. Everything. Everything. Okay? And when you can control this with your emotions, you will know when the bad thing that happens is actually bringing you to the most amazing thing. And that's why I could get on the phone with my mom after I'm getting kicked out, you know, with this cool guy that I loved, right? You know, I could have been heartbroken and pissed and frustrated and afraid. Instead, I'm excited because I know something's going to happen, because I know I've been transmitting the frequencies, and I know that my brain transmits a frequency, and I know that everything is energy, and I know that within this construction of the vibrational structure I have emitting from me, something amazing is about to fall into place. And it did. And it has ever since. I mean, I'll be talking for hours if I were to go on my whole journey from then and before and after up till now. It's always been so perfect. Seriously. Every time. And so, right now, you know, crazy situation in the world. You're fearful. You know, they're going to come after me. They're going to come to my door and put a medical procedure on me. Well, guess what? If you can hold yourself balanced emotionally through all these situations, you will actually move to the perfect place at the perfect time, and you don't even have to plan it. The only thing you got to plan is keep tapping, doing the tapping technique. But Michael, the tapping technique's weird. Okay, I know it's weird. I know it looks retarded, and I know it's like embarrassing to do in front of people, okay? And I know it's hard to do because you don't really believe in it that much. I understand. That's why I have to keep talking to you about it, and that's why you got to keep watching these videos, especially this one. You need to get the story down so good in your memory, all the pictures, the imagination. You don't have to look at my face again. You know, just set the phone on the counter and make dinner, or do your laundry, or be in the bathroom and take a shower, or whatever, right? But Michael, thoughts don't happen in your body. Oh, really? Tell that to a guy who's thinking with their ding-dong all the time. Oh yeah, guys never think with that. Oh sure, probably girls too, right? You know, you think with your heart when you're really in love. When you get scared, or you know something happens, you get butterflies in your stomach. There's emotion with all the organs, right? And they're all connected. And that's why you tap on these spots, because this is connected to the stomach. This is connected to your heart, right? And all the way through. You got to learn this stuff. If you really want to be effective and reduce the resistance of what you're trying to do and get you out of your own way and just be joyful and grateful, it works. That's why I said, you know, it's as easy as the snowflake. You just got to be in that emotional state, right? Are you grateful and seeing the things you have? Or are you in your imagination thinking of the things you think you don't have? That's really what it comes down to. Where's the focus? And the rampage of appreciation which is Abraham Hicks term, which I did before I learned it, I believe. Good material, by the way, Abraham Hicks. Except it's channeled, so it's a little weird. Which is why you want to hear it from someone who actually practices it, because it's a little more relatable. But really good stuff. So that's the story. When something really negative happens, you already gonna know it's the seed of an opportunity, right? There was a time when someone crashed into the back of my RV. It was parked on the side of the road. Someone smashed into the bumper, and their car got totaled, and I had to total mine, right? To anyone else, that would have been the worst possible situation. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my stuff, my car, all this money this time. I looked at it and go, something amazing is gonna come out of this. I do the whole insurance deal with this auto body guy who's a third generation auto body guy. He knows everything about the business. He's seen every single situation until me. I was gonna lose the RV. I was only get a minimal amount of money for what it was worth, because these things they drop in value very fast, right? And it wasn't looking good. But that didn't sway me. I don't care if it's the ultimate expert of the thing. No. This is going to be amazing. I don't know how. I don't know what. I don't need to know what. I don't need to stress about what it is or what it's going to be. I know this is going to be amazing because I'm always feeling good and I have a great frequency that was when it happened. So I know this is going to turn out. It's going to be some kind of miracle, right? And there are friends around me like, are you sure, man? This is not looking too good. Well, long story short, all I had to do was buy a $60 bumper to replace. I sold my old one for $40. So I put $20 into the repair. And I ended up getting the RV for free. It became salvage, so I just had to do a brake and light check, get it registered or whatever. So it was an extra like $300 total. And they gave me $30,000 total with the RV. So I got the RV that I bought for $30,000, and I got $30,000. Why did I manifest that? Because I was actually working on paying off all my debt, and the total came up to $31,000, and that's how much they paid me. And at the whole end of it, I paid off all my credit cards. They paid off my car loan 100% plus more money. And just ridiculously insane, right? And these are the things that happen to me all the time. And it's simple. I'm just grateful. I see what I want. I make a clear picture of it, right? I'm so grateful this is complete. I'm so grateful I have a house. You're in your van, but I have a roof. See, I'm so deep in it that I don't believe otherwise, because I feel it. Again, it's going to take a lot of repetition for you to get there. So watch these videos over and over and over again. You'll get it. You keep working at it, I guarantee it, you'll get it at some point. I don't know when. The more effort you put into it, the better you'll get. Right? Maybe you need to write down, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. That writing down helps you focus more on what you're doing instead of getting lost in your mind, right? You got the pen and the paper, blue pen, white paper, sticks out into your mind better. Writing cursive, right? No breaks in the letters. It's more of a smooth flow transition. It helps your thoughts flow better. Write down everything you're thankful for. And the magical point is when you get to the place where you never stop writing. And you're just, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for the cup. I'm thankful for my water. I'm thankful for my bowl. I'm thankful for the meal I had yesterday. I'm thankful for that meal I had. Oh man, I'm thankful for when I went over to my friend's house and they made that beautiful meal. It was so good. Oh, I'm so grateful for it. Feeling it, right? I'm so grateful for that time I went on vacation. I had such a great time. Yeah, but it was like 5 years ago. I don't care. I'm accessing the feeling. Whether it was freaking Grammy that gave me the money when I was 10 or yesterday, as long as you can get the feeling, That's all that matters. All right, drop me a like if you think this helped you. Leave a comment of the ahas, realizations, and questions that you have, and I'll see you in the next video.